All right, let's talk about that moment, that stomach-dropping feeling when you've just filed your taxes, you're all relieved, and then bam, you realize you messed up. We've all been there. Well, today, we're going to turn that panic into a super clear plan.
Yeah, that feeling. You spot it plain as day. Maybe it was a W-2 that slipped through the cracks, or you realize you missed a massive deduction. It is just the worst. Sinking feeling, right?
Okay, first things first. Take a deep breath. Seriously, this is almost always fixable. And here's the kicker, and you really need to hear this. Fixing a mistake isn't just about damage control. Sometimes it can actually be a financial opportunity.
All right, let's get into it. What are the very first steps you should take when you get that sinking feeling?
The key to this whole thing is one single form, the 1040X. This is the IRS's official tool built for one purpose, to correct a tax return you've already filed. I love this analogy. Think of it as your financial edit button.
But hold on, before you start filling anything out, you've got to make a really critical call. Does this mistake actually need you to do anything? Let's break down what I mean.
See, not every error is created equal. On one side, you've got these little clerical things, like simple math mistakes. Honestly, the IRS computers are really good at catching those, and they'll often just fix them for you. No sweat. But on the other side, you have what are called substantive errors. And these are the big ones. This is stuff the IRS has no way of knowing about, and that's where you have to step in.
So, what exactly counts as a substantive error? Well, think about this. Did you forget to include the income from that freelance gig? Or did you have that aha moment after filing, realizing you totally qualified for a big tax credit? Maybe you picked the wrong filing status, like single instead of married. If any of that sounds familiar, yep, the 1040X is what you're looking for.
Okay, this brings us to what might be the most important part of this entire conversation, the return on investment, the ROI of actually filing this thing. Because this isn't just about paperwork. This is a straight-up financial decision with real money on the line. Let's crunch some numbers.
First, what happens if you just do nothing? Let's say you underpaid. Well, the IRS has a little something called the failure to pay penalty. And it's brutal. It's 5% of what you owe per month. That can stack up to a whopping 25% of your unpaid bill. It adds up so fast. And oh, it gets better. On top of that penalty, the IRS also charges interest on the amount you owe. We're talking a 7% annual rate. And yes, it compounds. To the longer you wait, the deeper that financial hole gets.
Okay, look at this. This chart just lays it out so clearly. Let's use a simple example. You underpaid by $1,000. Option A, you crossed your fingers and do nothing. Well, in just 6 months, you could be looking at about $335 in penalties and interest. Ouch. Now, look at option B. You filed the 1040X. Maybe it costs you $50 for the software. Your total cost? $50. That's it. And this visual just says it all, doesn't it? That huge bar, that's the cost of doing nothing. And that tiny little bar next to it, that's the cost of taking control. It's a no-brainer. A small, one-time fee to fix it now can literally save you hundreds of dollars in runaway costs later. The choice seems pretty clear to me.
But hey, let's flip this around. This isn't always about playing defense. What if the mistake you made was actually in the IRS's favor? You know, what if you missed a huge deduction or a credit you totally deserved? Well, filing a 1040X could mean the IRS actually owes you more money. All of a sudden, this form isn't a chore. It's a tool to get your hard-earned cash back.
Okay, so you're convinced. You're gonna file. The great news is we're not in the dark ages anymore. The days of printing out a mountain of forms, licking stamps, and then waiting forever, they're pretty much over. The whole process has gone digital.
Just look at how far we've come. Seriously, just a few years ago, this was a mail-in only nightmare. You could be waiting 20 weeks, that's 5 months or more. But then e-filing for the 1040X became a thing, and it was a total game changer. Then came direct deposit for amended refunds. So for you, right now, this means the whole process is faster, way more transparent, and you can handle it all from your laptop. So what does this look like in 2026? It's basically 3 simple steps. 1, you use your favorite tax software, the one you already know, to fill out and e-file the 1040X. 2, instead of just guessing, you can actually go to the IRS website and use their Where's My Amended Return tool to see where things stand. And 3, you get your confirmation, or even better, that refund zapped right into your bank account via direct deposit. It's just a much better system. Okay, now for a quick reality check.
Even with all these amazing digital tools, it's not instant. We're talking an average processing time of about 16 weeks. So yeah, it's way faster and easier to file, but you still gotta have some patience. My advice? File it, track it, and then just let the system do its thing.
All right, let's wrap this up. When you boil it all down, what is this really about? It's about taking back control. It's about owning your financial story. And we have to talk about the elephant in the room. The big fear everyone has. If I file this, am I gonna get audited? Look, tax pros will tell you this is one of the biggest myths out there. Think about it from the IRS's point of view. You're proactively coming to them, pointing out your own mistake, and making it right. That's a huge sign of good faith. It's way, way better than them having to hunt it down later.
And that right there is the core idea. Filing a 1040X isn't about admitting you messed up. It's about good financial hygiene. Your tax return is a cornerstone of your financial life, and making sure it's accurate, that is the ultimate act of taking control.
So whether you're trying to dodge hundreds in penalties or you're hunting for a surprise refund, the path forward is pretty darn clear. You have the plan, you have the tools, so the only real question left is, are you going to make the $50 fix or the $300 mistake?